Hi everyone, my name is Maddie Hamilton and I'm going to be a senior and I'm one of the interp officers this year. So today I'm going to be doing a lecture on cutting. So, okay. Okay, so basically cutting is when you take the larger work you're using, so book, script, whatever it is, and you're cutting it down into a piece that fits your time limit and word count that you need. And so an example is you make a whole 2-hour movie script into a 10-minute HI. So obviously you're not going to be using that entire script. You're going to have to cut a lot out and just get it down into a piece that focuses on what you want to focus on. And you're going to be following the pyramid plot structure down below. And just that like story arc, and you can either choose just specific sections of the work to use, or you can use the entire thing and just cut little pieces from it throughout. So it kind of depends on what the point of your story is, what your message is, that sort of thing. So step one is choosing your piece, and so cutting is different for different pieces. If you're going for an HI, then you need a lot of things from different characters. Dialogue is really important, but for a DI, you're focusing on one central character, so you want to cut things more just focused on one character's story and their character development. And so you want to keep length in mind. If you choose something really long, especially if you have a tournament coming up or something, then that can make it a little more difficult. But also you want to have enough material to where you can get what you need. And so dialogue is good for certain pieces, like often duo and duet, HI, things like that, but it can be hard to work that into a DI because you're supposed to be speaking as one character the whole time. And then step two is to read the entire script, book, whatever you're using, because it's really important that you see what your options are and keep an open mind. You might think you know what you want to be in your piece, but you can totally find something new and really important after reading the entire thing. So it's helpful to have a paper book for this because you can highlight the sections you want to use, you can put sticky notes in, but also if you're using an ebook or something, that's totally fine. So just focus on your plot structure and see what kind of different storylines there are, what you can use. And you want to select one main storyline to focus on because a lot of things can have a lot of different stories within them, but in a limited time frame, you want to choose your main message and story. So step three is you want to choose sections from the book that you want to use. And usually I use like a chunking method. So I'll just take chunks of the piece or chunks of the big book or script or whatever, and just put them into a Google Doc and see what I'm working with. And then I'll slowly cut those down and try to make it all blend together. And so things to keep in mind is you're going to be performing this. So if you can find an opportunity to establish some sort of environment and ways to incorporate blocking, which is how you're acting things out because you don't have props, then that's really good. And just be sure that you're sticking to your main storyline. It's easy to get to want to use different things, especially if it's like a movie or book you love or something. You can have these parts that you really like that you want to use, but they don't always work with your main storyline and message. And you can just get kind of overwhelmed and put too many things in there. So just try to focus on the main thing. And so if you have too much or too little, then just go back to your main idea, think about what's really important, what really contributes to your message, and what really isn't needed. And then okay, and so the way you cut, like I said before, is usually you get chunks, and then you'll just cut those down more and more until you get to the right word count. And something that you need to keep in mind is you can't just have these chunks that don't flow together. So you want to find some sort of transition to just make it a conversational performance type thing. So you just need to make sure you that everything goes together. But, and here's some important notes. So just remember why you're doing this, what your message is. And you don't have to cut chronologically. You can start with things from the end of the book and then go back to the beginning, use random parts as long as it all flows together. And then your word count does vary a lot depending on how fast you talk. And that also goes along with the piece and your character, how fast they talk. So you will be adding an intro to this, which is usually about 45 seconds. I talk really fast, so my word counts are usually really high, but for 10-minute events, which are DI, HI, some others, those should be about 1,000 words without your intro. And then for 7-minute events, which are like prose poetry, those should be about 650 to 800. And it's not an exact science. So once you have a rough cut, then you should read it out loud and time it to see if your word count is right or if you're going over too much, that sort of thing. And so things you can think about and ask us are just really stay open-minded. You might have had a certain storyline in mind you wanted to follow, but you can choose something totally different, or it might be too difficult to use a certain piece or something, but usually you can make it work. And so like one example is Cinderella. There's so many different ways you could cut that story. You could make it about her romantic relationship with the prince, about her hating her stepmother and stepsisters. You could make it about her animal friends and like her journey with them and how they helped her. So there are a ton of different ways to do it. If you have a piece that you know you want to use, but you're not totally sure what direction you want to take it or something like that, you can totally ask us and we can give you our opinion and help you come up with different ways to do it. So when you do have a piece in mind, a good little exercise would be to write down different ways you could do it and then see which one you like best and which one has the best message and meaning to you. So that's all. Just let me know if y'all have any questions, and the link to these notes will be in the description box below. Thank you. Bye.